How's everyone doing today? My name is Steven with Big Fish Audio, and I'm very excited to bring you the full walkthrough for Momentum 2.0. Now, for those familiar with Momentum in the past, you know it to be a completely free loop, slicer, dicer, and manipulator, capable of transforming your sounds into something completely unique and original. I'm excited to say with Momentum 2.0, it's still free and has some very exciting new updates. One of those updates is you're looking at it right on the screen. This is the standalone version of Momentum. This serves as a great alternative to loading up Momentum as a plugin in your DAW. Another huge update for Momentum 2.0 is the new premium upgrade subscription option with Momentum Pro. Now, I'll talk details about Momentum Pro in a minute, but I'd like to first take a look at some of the Momentum pages. If you're familiar at all with Momentum, you'll notice some new sections on here, including this homepage. This is a great place to just start searching for different instrument types or libraries or different genres. Another new page here is the My Files page. Now, once you download, install, and log into your existing account, anything you've already purchased in the past will show up here. You can start browsing those sounds and loading them into the plugin. Another new page is the browser page. If you're looking for a little bit more detail in terms of what you're looking for, this is a great place to go and find the exact sounds that you're looking for. The slice page might be a little bit more familiar to you if you've already used the plugin. You can start chopping up your samples here, adding slice effects, or rearranging the sample however you like. And the kit page here, you'll see everything you currently have loaded up. You can add additional effects. If you load up a construction kit, you can start rearranging that construction kit how you like. Now back to our big announcement of Momentum Pro. Momentum Pro subscribers will get direct access to Big Fish Audio's massive, legendary, and award-winning catalog of sounds. In addition, the Pro subscriber can import their own catalog of sounds into the My Files section of Momentum. This way, all your sounds for Big Fish, plus your own collection, can all be kept under one roof, making it way easier to find the exact sound you need. Another exciting update for Momentum Pro users is the ability to now load MP3 files. Okay, let's start to look at more details about Momentum 2.0, starting with how to browse and find the files you're looking for in Momentum. All right, when you're ready to start searching and browsing for samples, the homepage is a great place to start. Nice big search bar here at the top. Below that, we have a number of our latest releases. Quantum Breaks is just breaking now. It's just coming on the market. Let's go ahead and click on that. Take a listen to some of these samples here. This is a massive bass. Check out this drum loop here. Okay, let's go back to the home page. If you want to check out more, download Momentum 2.0 today. Install, start browsing for yourself. Here we have the search bar that I talked about. Momentum uses a very in-depth system of tags to help you find exactly what you're searching for. These tags can be styles, genres, instrument types, description of the sound like reverb or distorted, library titles. You can even create custom tags and apply them to any number of files that you have in your collection. Let's go ahead and start though by searching for the word guitar here. You can see a number of suggested tags have shown up here, highlighted on the first one, which is guitars. And that's going to be all different types of guitars. So if we want to be a little bit more specific, let's mouse down to electric guitar. It's going to go back to the browser. And now our search results will be electric guitars. Let's go ahead and click on a few of these here. Now, as you're hearing here, we're browsing through electric guitars of all different styles. Pop, this country picking guitar, EDM guitars, R&B guitars, rock guitars, any style you can think of. Now, if you're just looking to browse and just get inspired, this is a great way to go. But if you want to be more specific, you can put in a specific genre or style in the search bar up here. In addition to that, you could also use the tag picker, which is this green icon here, which is going to show you all available styles. Now, anything in white text here is going to have electric guitars included in it. So let's click on lo-fi and see what lo-fi electric guitars we have here. Let's go ahead and preview a few of these. Now, once you find something maybe that it's more your lane, more your style, maybe you like this particular loop, you can see the product cover here, and this is from Lo-Fi Study Sessions. All these products in the top are suggested products based on the current tags we have in our search. So if we click on Lo-Fi Study Sessions, it's going to add that to our tags. We have electric guitar, lo-fi, and lo-fi study sessions. And now we can start previewing some of these here. I think we did that one, so we'll go to the next one here. Now, maybe you really like one of these particular guitars and you're interested in what else that kit has to offer. So this is from Kit 10. So we're going to scroll over through the kits here and click on Kit 10. Now, what that's going to do is show us the results in Kit 10. Now, let's remove electric guitar from our tag so we can see everything that's in Kit 10. Let's just play this main demo, this full mix here. We'll skip ahead to where the beat comes in. Now, as you've been browsing and searching around and you realize you want to go back to a previous search that you had, you can use the arrows here to navigate backwards in your search history. So we're going to go ahead and go back to, here we are, electric guitar and lo-fi, and we're going to continue on in the search area here. Now, you can also add descriptors like I mentioned. We could click on the tag picker for that and see what descriptors we might be able to add to that. Below that, we have some more criteria here where you can further narrow down your search. So you can search between loops, all, or shot. If we click over to shot, that's going to primarily be more drums. So let's go ahead and remove electric guitar. Click over to shot, and you can see we have a number of different one-shots here that you can preview. Now, maybe you want to specifically search for kick drums. So I'm going to go ahead and put in kick up here. And now we have kick drums for you to start previewing. Now let's see what our kick drum loops look like. So I'll switch over this type category to loop. Now we can also sort by key. Maybe we're working in a project that's in a minor key. Let's go ahead and remove kick, switch this over to minor. And maybe specifically, we're looking for basses. So let's put in bass up here. Now we're searching for all minor keyed basses. Now, maybe if you're working in a specific key, you might want to narrow the range of keys, the original keys of the loops listed. So maybe you're working in the key of F or F sharp, and so we'll narrow it from E to G sharp. Now, that being said, Momentum has a really high quality algorithm for time stretching and pitch shifting, but still, if you're looking for something maybe just a little bit closer to your key you're working in, you can use these sliders here to limit the key range. You can also limit by speed or length. If you want to see items that are maybe more down tempo, we could set our maximum to say 94 BPM here, down to the slowest range here, or we could search by length of the loop, how many seconds long something is, and you can also adjust time signatures, so you're only getting results for certain time signatures. I'm going to go ahead and clear all up here, and at the bottom here we have something that's called Only Show, and if we click on My Samples, this is going to only show items that are in your My Files that you currently own. Whether you have purchased them from Big Fish Audio, use points to get these samples imported from your library, from your own library if you're a Momentum Pro subscriber. And when you're on My Samples, that's all we're seeing in our results. So if I start searching now with My Samples selected, it's only going to show things that are already in my library. Now, local is items that are in our library, but also currently downloaded on our hard drive and on our computer. They are not in the cloud. They're ready to go right here. Lastly, over here is favorites. Now, if I click on favorites, it's only going to show me samples that I have favorited in Momentum. Now, besides tags and these additional search criteria, you can also do what's called a text search. So I'm going to go ahead and clear everything. And up here, if I write a word that doesn't have an actual specific tag associated with it, you can do a text search by clicking on this first item here, boom, and it's going to do a text search of all the samples in Momentum. Anywhere in the text that says boom, it's going to show up and going to give you those results here. So sure enough, here are our booms. Okay, let's go ahead and clear Boom out of our search by just clicking this X right here. Now let's go ahead and click in on one specific product and just take a look at everything in the product view. So here I clicked on Holland, and if I want to get a general demo, just get an idea of what Holland sounds like, this main demo here is a good place to start. Now this demo will eventually start playing through multiple different kits and their demos, but if you want to go straight to a specific kit, you can play their demos right here. Now, to see things in Kit 2, I could scroll down the list here if I wanted to, but an easier way to do that is to just click on the kit itself so you can view all the items within that kit. Now, as a Momentum subscriber, you'll have a number of points each month that you can use for individual samples or for an individual kit or even for an individual product. So if you want to purchase an entire product, you can click this icon here. For an entire kit, you can click the purchase here for 20 points, or for any individual sample, you'll see the point value over here on the right. Now, once you either have a sample in your library or a kit, you can load that in directly into Momentum by just dragging this folder right here to bring this straight into Momentum. Now, as of Momentum 2.0, another great option here is to drag a sample straight to your DAW. Now that audio file is now imported right into Logic here. Now, if you've purchased an entire kit or you own an entire product, all the kits will be ready for you to load as well. So you can take this folder from the kit icon, drag it here, and it's going to go ahead and load it and open it up on my kit page, where at that point I can start playing through samples, arranging my loop however I want. Let's go back to the browser. Okay, let's clear all here. Now let's look at all the info and the rows and columns here in our sample results. First, you see that there is a product image in front of every single sample. You can either click on that or where you see it says Kit 01 110A flat. That's going to take you straight to the kit of that product, which is Hometown Kit 1. It'll take you straight there. The next section on here is obviously the play button, which you've been seeing me use, and you've also seen me be able to skip ahead in the sample. Here we have a list of tags that is applied to this particular loop. Now, if you see something on here that you want to apply to your current search, like maybe you liked that this was cheerful and you think that you might want to find other cheerful type samples, you could click on cheerful. It's going to add that tag the same way it would if you entered cheerful into your search bar or used the descriptor pop-up. Next to that is the original key and BPM of the sample that you are currently looking at. Next to that is the rank. It just ranks how popular this sample is right now amongst all Momentum users. Next to that is our favorites. So if you want to favorite a sample, you could click on that right there. I'm going to undo that because I don't know if that one's my favorite. Next to that is the state of the sample. If it's a folder, it means it's in your library, it's downloaded, and it's ready to go. If you see a point value, it's not in your library, you can click on a point value here, hit OK. It's going to use your points to get that sample. It's going to download it, and it's also ready to go there. Lastly, there is a cloud icon for anything that is not yet downloaded. Right here is one that is in your library. And if I click on that, it's going to go ahead and start the download process. And it is now on my computer and ready to go. All right, that's about it for the browser and search section of this video. Next, let's move on to the My Files. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the My Files page in Momentum 2.0. Now, this is where you're going to find all of your products and samples that you have in your own account. Now, even if you've purchased products in the past, once you've downloaded, installed, and logged into your account here in Momentum 2.0, they'll all automatically be here ready for you to use. So on the left-hand side, this is our folder navigator here. We click the drop-down. Now, anything I'm clicked on, you'll see all the samples for on the right-hand side. So if I click on 808 Earthquake, it's going to jump to all those samples here on the right side. You can scroll through page after page, but you could also, if you want to find something deep into the product, say all the way down to Kit 50. Now, I should mention there is a difference between double-clicking and single-clicking any folder here on the left-hand side. If I were to double-click on Kit 50, it's going to take me to the browser page, show me 808 Earthquake, and Kit 50 would be displayed. And if I wasn't trying to go to a specific kit, I could also just double-click on the main 808 folder here on the left-hand side, taking me to that product in the browser page. Now, single-clicking, it's just going to show you the contents of what's in that folder here in My Files on the right-hand side. Now, for some of these products here, like the next one, After Midnight, I just have one sample that I use my points for. Now, if you want to do a sub-search of, say, all drums in 808 Earthquake, the best place to go there is still the browser. We're going to go ahead and type in 808, and there's 808 Earthquake. I'm going to go drums here. And now I'm seeing all drum samples from 808 Earthquake. Now, while I'm here on this page, I will mention again, this is the place that you would load kits. So I have kit 1 here. It's downloaded, ready to go. Drop samples and kits area is right here. It's going to load the full kit. Now, another big announcement for Momentum 2.0 and our Momentum Pro subscribers is you can now add your own catalog of sounds under one umbrella with your Big Fish Audio products. So I have my Sounds folder right here. I can just drag this in, drop it, and it'll start analyzing these samples. Now, I could have also used the plus button right here, which would have brought up a Finder window if I needed to navigate or I wasn't sure where my samples were. I could go and do it that way. Now, it's analyzing all of these samples. It's adding tags. It's adding BPM and key metadata. Now, if you do have a really large collection of samples, we might recommend blocking out some time where you can just let it run. You can walk away from your computer, come back when it's all done. It's all ready to be used. Okay, so here we have My Sounds. It's in here in Momentum 2.0. Let's click the drop down and see what we have. We have some pianos, some hip hop drum samples, rock guitars, sound effects, My World Percussion. Now, we can edit a lot of this information here by clicking this button here. And there's a 3-dot menu that we click on. And the first one here is Edit Sample. All right, so this is the information that we can edit in the sample if need be. First thing you can do is edit the mode, loop or shot. Well, if you have a sample that you want to loop on itself and you also want it to match your host BPM, well, then you want to set it to loop and you also want to make sure that the original tempo is set correctly here. Now, Momentum's going to do a great job in most cases of guessing the original tempo. Now, if for some reason it's not correct, perhaps the file was not cut on a bar line or it's an odd number of bars that it was cut to, you might not have the correct tempo here. So you want to make sure the original tempo is input here. Now, if you have a shot, that's for drum hits, things that you don't want to loop on itself and things that you don't want to stretch to the DAW's BPM. Below this, we have a time signature field here that you can adjust the time signature. You can also change the key of it. So just like it's important to have the original BPM listed, it's also just as important to have the original key correct. So if Momentum is trying to shift a particular loop from A to B, it's going to want to take that up 2 semitones. Now, however, if the key is not listed correctly as A, it's going to shift it too many or too little depending on the situation. So make sure you have the original key correct as well. All right, we're going to hit cancel there and see what else we have in this 3-dot menu. Now we can also edit tags for this sample. We can add styles, instrument type, descriptors. Just click on the icon there and you can start adding in descriptors. Say that these are all reverb guitars, so we could apply that there. You can also add custom tags. Now, custom tags can be really useful for different collections of samples that you have brought in. Now, when you're in the browser, to help you easily find them, you can create a custom tag and apply it to different collections of sounds. So in this case, I want to create a My Rock 25 guitars. Now, I already have it here. Let me show you how to create that. If I deleted that, just simply hit the plus button, type in what you want it to be called, Rock Guitars 2025, we'll call it. And then we can just click on that and hit apply. Now, if I want to apply it to the entire collection, I can do that by clicking this button right here. And now it has highlighted everything that is in my viewer right now. Click on the 3-dot menu again, edit tags. Let's go back to that Rock Guitars 2025 and apply it. And now you can see it is now applied to all of these different samples. Now there's also in the 3-dot menu, you could remove an individual sample, and in an alternative way to load this sample, you could also just drag it straight into the drop samples area. Okay, on the left-hand side, a little file management that you can do is you can delete a folder if you wanted to by simply right-clicking on it and deleting it here. You could also command-click or control-click on a PC. So command-click for a Mac, control-click on a PC. Now, if anything were to change in your samples folder, say you deleted your pianos. Now, if we go back into Momentum, you'll notice there's an index icon next to the My Sounds folder. This indicates that there was a change in that folder. And if I index it, it's going to mirror what that change was. All right, that's about it from my files. Let's move on to the slice page. All right, we've made it here to the slice page, and this is where things really start to get fun and creative. Now, if you've used Momentum in the past, you already know some of the things that you can do on the slice page and the power that it has. But stick around, you might learn something new. So I have a sample loaded in, and I've already created some slice points on it. You can see those slice points in both the vertical line on the waveform itself, and then those are represented by the different orange keys here. Each one of those slices gets its own key where you can trigger the sample from any location. Now, the beauty of these slices is you can really rearrange this however you like. Now, if I just hold this down, it's locked into my host BPM of 95 right here. and it's just going to continue to play. But I can play this back however I want. And you can hear there are also some slice effects that have been added to some of those slices. So what are the slice effects? How do you apply them? Let's go over to this piano here and let's play this back. So you can hear it's just a piano part there with a long chord followed by a short chord. And here we have all the different slice effects that you can apply to it. Now there are 8 different slots that you can choose from. To apply any of these effects, what you do is you find the one that you want to use. In this case, let's go to reverse. And now we're just going to click on the waveform itself. And you can see the interaction there where I can then click on different slices. And I'm going to add this reverse effect to the short chords here. Okay, now we can also apply a stutter effect if we wanted to some of these chords. So let's click on stutter, and then we can add a 30-second note stutter to this. Let's make that a little slower. Let's go 16th note. And then we can change the number of repeats on that to say just 2. If we don't like that, let's try a filter, and let's just do a low pass filter that kind of filters. Let's go filter this way. We're going to filter up. Also adjust the resonance. So for the filter here, there was 2 different parameters that you can affect, the cutoff and the resonance. Now globally, we can adjust the mode here. If we want to do a comb filter, let's do a slightly different pattern here, just kind of small changes in a comb filter make a big difference. You can hear the resonance working there. Now, if there's an effect you're looking for that you don't see on here, you can click the 3-dot menu here. And we're going to just switch this filter out for a phaser. Now we have mix, rate, and depth as our 3 things that we can affect on this sample. So let's go ahead and turn up some mix on these, somewhere around 70% or so on those same samples. Now if I want to adjust the rate, I can turn that way up, very spacey up there. Now with this faster rate, let's turn down the depth a little bit. Let's turn the rate up even faster. And we can also turn up the feedback globally. So these are the global controls for the phaser. Feedback, invert feedback, pulse, center, and spread. So you can hear it's applying to anything that the phaser is mixed in on. Okay, let's click over to this synth pluck part. Now I want to zoom in on this, so I'm going to go ahead and use my mouse zoom control here. And if you don't have a mouse zoom control, you can also use these start and end sections here where you can adjust those to view a different section of the waveform. Drag this over to the beginning. Now let's use the vol pan effect here, and I'm on the gain slice control, and I want to create a stutter effect. Now I could draw this all the way across. That's going to take a long time, so let's just go repeat first 2 slices, and it's going to create that pattern all the way across. Now that's a bit of a drastic volume drop. It's on silence at negative infinity dB there. We can use the trim icons here to lessen that a little bit. So that's better. Let's turn it off. Turn it back on. Okay. Now let's click on the pan here, and we're going to create a little pan pattern. We can go left, center, right, and then center here, and then right, and then we'll go repeat first 3 slices. And if we don't want to pan to 100% there, hard left and hard right, we can adjust that. And let's just try something random here by clicking the random button. Now I think that sounds pretty cool, but if you didn't like it, you can click the clear. It's going to reset that. Last section here on the left-hand side of the effects box here is the overlay. Shows you a subtle coloration of the other slice control that you have on here, which in this case is the gain, so you can maybe make good decisions, better decisions on where you're applying other slice control effects based on where you have the gain set. In the case of like the lo-fi here, for example, if we have sample rate turned on here, we're on a mix, we can still see where that sample rate is, so we can maybe turn up the mix for that particular sample if you wanted to do that. All right, let's talk about this middle row of controls. Now, all of these controls will be specific to the sample that you currently have on the slice page. You can see I have a number of different samples loaded into Momentum. If I adjust this tune here, it's just for this sample. So I have volume, pan, and tune here. Now, these are new knobs here in 2.0, and they're just mirror images of the volume, pan, and tune that are on the kit page. So you can see on that samples channel that pitch has been turned down an octave as well here. So if I make an adjustment here, it'll be adjusted back over on the kit page. These are just convenient, so you don't have to click back and forth between the slice and kit. In the middle, we have speed controls. We have halftime, 1x and 2x. So if I want to make this halftime, now these are still locked into the host BPM of 95. So halftime, for you people keeping the numbers, it's 47.5. Or I can go 2x here. So just depending on the situation that you're working with a specific sample, you might find those useful. Now you'll notice here at halftime, that audio is really stretching. That's because it is in stretch mode. If I change this over to beat mode, it means that the audio inside of each slice will play back at its original speed. Now, the overall loop is still playing back at 47.5 because I'm at halftime, but the audio inside is not stretching. If I hit stretch, the loop's going to play back the same, but each slice is stretching now. Now, this is a dramatic stretch, so you'll just have to make a decision from sample to sample, situation to situation, what works best for your audio between beat and stretch. Now, let's click over to this drum loop here and talk about velocity sensitivity. So if I play this back quietly on the keyboard, it still plays back at the same volume. But if I turn on velocity sensitivity, I can play it quiet or I can play it loud. Now, let's switch over this mode from loop to shot. Now, what that's going to do is going to make each slice its own sample, and it won't continue on to the next slice. So in short, I basically created my own little drum sampler here, and I could create my own beat if I wanted to, independent of what this original loop was doing. Now, in shot mode, you also have release time of each of your shots. So if you want things to play back out fully when you hit it, keep the release time all the way over at max. Now, there's other modes here. We have loop, backwards, and boomerang. Now, we've been working in loop mode, which just basically means it's going to play back everything all the way through and then loop around itself again. Now, I'm going to go ahead and bring in the end marker. This is the loop marker here, down to just about one measure here for this example. Now, let's zoom in. And adjust this right there. Now let's go ahead and change loop mode to backwards. What that's going to do, it's going to play the loop backwards. I can also go boomerang. It goes forward and then backwards on itself. So you might find some really creative uses out of boomerang mode. Okay, let's talk about editing slice points. Now, to edit slice points, we can switch this over from effects here in this box over to slice. Now in this box, I have some very basic controls here. Let's start by just resetting the slices, which is going to reset my loop point here back to the end of this particular sample. Now in this mode, I can go ahead and click on any slice and delete it, or I can highlight multiple slices, delete those. If I don't like what I did there, if I want to add some new slices, I can double click and that's going to start adding new slice points. I can drag them around so that I can click right where I want them to be. Now, if you don't like what you did there, you can always just click Reset Slices, bringing all the slice points back to their original state. Now, speaking of original state, all Big Fish Audio Momentum loops, we've painstakingly gone through each and every one of them, adding slice points. So you're not really going to need to adjust those if you're using Big Fish Audio Momentum loops. Now, if you're using your own loops and samples, you might need to do some adjusting. All right, for example here, this pad was not from the Big Fish Audio Momentum catalog, so I might want to do some adjusting on some of these slices. Let's start by just using slice by grid, and I'm going to go an eighth note on this and see what we have. Now that's actually a pretty good starting point, and I could go back to my effects, and I could add that stutter that I had on that synth pluck that we were doing before, and that's a really quick and easy way. Let's go 2x on that. Really quick, easy way to just get something interesting out of this pad. Of course, then the other way to do this is to slice by hand if I want to move these around and find the exact points where each note and change in the sound is happening. You could do it that way as well. And also you can use the snap features here. So if I want to add slices or move slices and make sure they snap on my grid, you can keep the snap on. You can see it's snapping from bar line to bar line there. So if I click in here, it's going to also add that there into the grid. You can see it's on an 8th note there. So you can also snap and the start and end markers. So if I want this to snap and not just be kind of, randomly set at some point in the timeline, I can click snap, start, and end. And now this will snap also on the bar lines, grid lines there, making it really the better choice when you are setting loop points within a particular sample. Okay, you've been seeing me navigate from sample to sample using this top section here. Another way you can do that is down here in the groups and samples. And also in the groups and samples, there's some additional content that you can edit and work with here, including you can drag a MIDI file from any particular sample, and it's going to take all the slice points and their locations in MIDI and bring it right into your DAW. So I can just drag that straight over here. And now if I want, I can open up this MIDI file if this is easier for you to work with here and start moving things around, deleting samples, quantizing, whatever it is that you want to do. It's just a convenient way if you prefer to work that way with MIDI. Now, next to this also, we have a edit tags. So for any Big Fish Audio Momentum sample, you'll be able to edit the tags on that and add a custom tag if you want. For any sample that you bring in, you also have the ability here to edit the sample, which we looked at in the My File section of this video. If you need to adjust the original tempo of the sample here, you could do that. Add a key here, we could do that as well. Okay, the last thing to look at here is this bottom section of controls next to the keyboard display. First, we have latch. Now, normally when I play back a sample, let's switch over back to the piano here. And I'm going to turn off all the effects just so that we can work with this straight. Now, if I have latch off as it is, when I release a key, it stops playback. With latch on, it's going to continue to play back until I either press a new key or I replay a key twice, which will turn it off. Another option to turn it off is to just turn latch off there. Now, a new feature for 2.0 is the ability to re-trigger one sample over and over again by using latch and your sustain pedal. So if I'm holding down the sustain pedal, and then if I want to turn it off again, let go of the sustain pedal, click the same key again, or turn off latch. Okay, next to this is input cue. So if you're recording and you want to make sure that the notes that you play on your keyboard land directly on a specific division, like a bar line or a quarter note, you can select bar. And now when I'm recording, every note that I play on my keyboard will wait until the next bar line and it will play exactly at that point. So that just makes sure that quantizing is kind of happening in real time. Next to this is the keyboard display. So if I want to adjust what part of the keyboard I'm looking at, I can adjust that by a few octaves. And below this is slice mapping. Just shows you where your slices will begin their mapping. Right now it's starting on C1. If I want to increase that up to C2, this is useful if you have maybe a smaller keyboard and need to adjust where the slices are being mapped to. On the right is the keyboard view. Right now it's set to auto, which means that if I switch over to kit page, you'll see the keyboard switch over to my kit variation of the keyboard. Now, if I have it set to slice, it will always stay on my slice view, whether I'm on slice page or kit page. Same thing with kit. It will always stay on the kit view, whether I'm on the slice page or the kit page. Okay, so that's it for the slice page. Let's move on to the kit page now. Okay, at long last, here we are on the kit page. You can see up here in the upper section, we have all of our channels. And below on the keyboard, you can see in the blue areas, we have all of the samples that are loaded up in the particular kit that I have, which is kit 9 of rose gold. And these can all be triggered here from the keyboard together. You can start arranging your parts. Now, obviously, as opposed to the slice page where you can only play back one sample at a time, here in the kit page, I can play them all back. I can also apply effects to each channel in a more traditional way than the slice effects. If I want to apply an effect to all of my guitars in my guitar channel, I can just click on the channel like this. And then once I've clicked on this channel, I'm ready to apply effects here below. So if I want to add, say, a phaser to my guitars here, it's going to add them to all the guitars in this channel. You can also use sends as well if you want to do that. So let's go ahead and add a little reverb. This is a nice way with this reverb where I can adjust it however I want, and then I can go to other channels and send it to the exact same reverb, kind of putting everything in a similar space. I can also do global effects. If I click on the global or master channel fader here, now the effects are switched over to be applied globally to everything. Okay, last thing to note about the channel strip area is if you're using Momentum to mix a kit here, you can also use multi-outputs on each of these channels. So if you're using the multi-output version of Momentum here on the bass part, we can set that to stereo output 2. And now I can mix within my DAW using my own plugins for the bass and for the guitars independently from each other. All right, as I've mentioned, we're on Kit 9 of the product Rose Gold. Let's switch over the send effect view here to the groups and samples. Now we can see all of the different drum names or the different guitar names that are available in the guitar channel, the drum channel, synths, etc., etc. So you can see we have 09 guitar A, B, C, and then E. So these are the different song sections. Now, if I play a loop back, in this case, let's go to the drums. This is playing back drums E. You'll notice the red light indicators here showing you all other E sections of this kit in other instruments. So we have here, this is the bass part that goes with it. There's a guitar part here. There's the keys. There's a synth stab part. Another synth part. And so forth and so forth. So if I played a different drum part, you'll notice the other red lights are going to switch to other sections, showing now, in this case, all D sections. Now, in a kit like this, you can really mix and match between sections. It doesn't really make a difference. Be creative with it. But in some kits, you might have different song sections that have different chord progressions. And then in that case, the red light indicators would really be helpful to know which parts are going to go together and which parts aren't. All right, we talked about how Momentum locks in with your DAW's host BPM, but you can also adjust the keys in a couple different ways. Now, you'll see the key that we're set to now is G minor up here. This mirrors what's happening in the key section here in the red area. We're on G minor, but you can adjust to any of these different keys in nearly 2 octaves. So you could go up here if you want, adjust the key here, or you could do it from the keyboard. Now, when you're doing it from the keyboard, you can actually get kind of creative with it and adjust a sample on the fly. Well, now that's just a creative way that you might use the key adjustments section of Momentum, but traditionally you might just want to change the entire kit from one key to another, go from G to A, and then work from there. Now, any slice effects that you've applied to any of these samples will also be heard when you trigger loops from this kit page as well. So if I apply a filter, let's go over to the slice page, and on this guitar part here, let's go ahead and turn this filter on, and we're just going to make it do something like that. And then let's make this 2x. And then also let's make this backwards. So now if I go back to the kit page and I play guitar part C, all those changes are now here on my kit page as well. Now let's look at another example of how the kit page could be creatively used. I'm going to go to another instance of Momentum here, and I have the same snare roll brought in 4 different times. Let's play this real fast. It's just a basic snare roll. It doesn't really change or do anything, but let's look at the 4 different instances and changes that I've made here in the slice page. So for the first one, I have half speed. The second one, I have 1 times speed, and the third one is 2x speed. And then lastly, on the fourth one, I've also applied some pitch variation. It's going up here from slice to slice. A filter that slowly opens up, a high pass filter, so it gets more and more filtered, and then kind of a reverb splash at the end. So let's hear that. And now we can go back to the kit page, and we have basically our sound palette here. All right, we're just about done, but let's talk about some of the concepts between the slice page and the kit page and kind of putting them all together in a track example. So I have that chop that we were looking at earlier, and this sounds like this here after I've arranged it. And you can see that I have a number of different effects on here. Drop the pitch of this slice down an octave. There's some delay throws on a couple of the slices. And below this, I have some drum one-shots that I've loaded into the kit page. You can see here on the slice page, they're just individual one-shots. And now I'm triggering a drum part here that I've recorded into my MIDI. And then lastly, I have this bass part. Now the bass part needed a little pitch slice effect so that it would work with the track. But after that, let's put it all together. Hear what we have. And there you have it. Okay, everyone take a deep breath. We are about done with this video. Congratulations if you've made it this far. We're back in the Standalone app. Standalone app has this gear icon. This is where you can set the Standalone's outputs, inputs, sample rate, buffer size, and also the tempo of the Standalone app. Below this disk icon here, there's a clear button here, which will clear anything that you have. If you have a bunch of stuff loaded and you just want to restart, hit clear. You can also save and load up custom kits from here. So I can click load. Go to my custom patch, I name that, and that's going to load up this patch. Now, I can go ahead and make any changes that I want to this. If I want to adjust this, turn on the chorus, I can go here, click save, and now when I recall this custom patch, it's going to recall with those changes. Lastly, below this here, some account info we can get to here. There's some real basic settings. You can update your subscription, look at your subscription, etc., etc. So that is about it for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching this. So if you haven't done so already, go to Big Fish Audio, download Momentum 2.0, and check it out for yourself for free today.